powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I got to tell you, these WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it. We got Kelsey Plum talking about these pathetic shirts that they wore out onto the court. And I'm going to tell you, these players all put these shirts on. And like I said in a couple of previous videos, that backfired. Here we are. We're nearly 24 hours. We're about 24 hours since they showed up on the court. It is still a social media blitzkrieg out there of these WNBA players getting destroyed because anybody with any sense, actual sports fans, we know a few things. Somebody asked me earlier, is it the fans that drive the salaries that these players are going to get? And I said yes and no. Okay. The no part is it's the media rights deals. It's the television contracts in all of sports that is the driving force behind athletes and the sports organizations making money. That's why the NFL can print money. Look, to a lesser extent, sure. Does attendance matter? Yeah. Does merch matter? Yeah. To the extent of a $260 million a year media rights deal? No. No, it doesn't. Okay, and that's why, literally there's a joke. And you guys know I've got a football channel. I used to cover the NFL on this channel before we moved it off this channel. And have been for years. There's a joke in the NFL that really and truly, these teams could play in front of 0 people. And they would keep just printing money. Why? Because, 40 million people tune in for the Redskins and Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. The media rights deals are insane. They're insane in the NBA. That's why the contracts are insane. Major League Baseball, all these regional sports networks paid these teams and paid up along with the national broadcast, and the Major League Baseball salaries are insane. These players have made a grave miscalculation. They've got, on a 3-to-1 scale, they've got new sports fans, and I don't mean new to sports, new to their league. Fans of other sports now watching their league. The old fandom is the 1. All right? We're the 3. They're the 1. Now, we're not watching their whole sport as a whole. We're not. Now, occasionally we peek in on other games or this and that and the other, but we're watching the Indiana Fever. More specifically, we're watching Caitlin Clark. These players know that, and they hate it. And they can't even hide it. Here's the other thing. The 1, all right, they're all behind these. Oh, they're going to wear these shirts and activism and all that. Whereas the 3, the 3-to-1, the fans that came in, the sports fans that came in, you know what we don't do? We ain't worried about salaries. And we know the monetary dynamics of sports, and we know your league doesn't make a profit. And the only hopes of it making a profit is that lady right there on my screen holding the number 10 Lexi Hall jersey. That is the person that can make the profit, and they know it. But these shirts, they're finding out today. They're effing around and finding out. Oh, no, the fans that just showed up, we don't like that shit. We, rah, rah, rah. No. You will get a raise, and they will get a raise. That media rights deal will give them a raise. But you're not making NBA money. You're not, I mean, the highest paid salary, my gut calculation, I say gut calculation, but I've actually done the math. I think the max deal is going to be around 700,000 a year. Somewhere between 650 and 750 a year. The max deal now is 249. They ain't making 3 or 4 million a year. There's not but one star that should see that kind of money, and that's Caitlin Clark, and she won't. She's not going to see it. And the average salary, which is 100 and something thousand, around 100,000 now, will probably go up to about 250,000. That's the money y'all getting. That's because that's what the TV media rights deal is going to allow. The shirts read, "Pay us what you owe us." And of course, everybody clowned that. Well, Kelsey Plum decided to give some backstory about these shirts, and she took a shot at Caitlin Clark. And Sabrina Ionescu did not like this shit, by the way. I give her credit because she was like, oh boy. I mean, it was ridiculous, but here we go.
It was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game.
All right, so they got together, all these nitwits got together and said, let's wear these shirts. She decides to say, and she didn't need to put this out in public, not for public consumption, not to tattletale, but to tattletale. 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that meeting. Sabrina Ionescu, you saw her face like that really needed to have come out. That annoyed the shit out of her. To her credit, that annoyed the shit out of her. Now, she was on Team Clark, but the animosity is nuts. It really is. This guy, everyone should use this video in this moment to stop watching or comment about anything having to do with the WNBA. These women are insufferable. They don't deserve more money. They don't get any ratings outside of Caitlin Clark. They openly disrespect her. They don't deserve Caitlin Clark. They don't deserve attention. They don't deserve a league. Officially going to block anything related to the WNBA on my feed. So somebody tag me when it finally goes under as a league. People, this pissed people. Look, Sabrina going record scratch, freeze frame. I mean, look at that face. Not to tattletale, but at Kelsey Plum, you're an idiot. You wish you could be the main attraction, and you are far from it. That's part of the issue is she thought she was going to come in this league, Kelsey Plum, and she thought she was Caitlin Clark. I can tell you right now. That was Diana Taurasi's problem, too. She thought she was Caitlin Clark. And if Caitlin Clark wasn't around or whatever, Paige Beckers would think she's the one. And none of them are. None of them have even shook the needle, shivered the needle. I'm a new WNBA fan. Why is she throwing shade at Clark? Because she's an idiot, and she's jealous, and she's petty. She's entering Megan Rapinoe territory on unlikability. Can you imagine? Congratulations, Megan Rapinoe. I'm going to tell you, 5 years of black and white sports, overwhelmingly, the people that were subscribed to that big channel, we were asking during a massive live stream we had one time. There was like 4,000 or 5,000 people in there. We asked, who's the most unlikable athletes? You know, is it Megan Rapinoe, Colin Kaepernick, or LeBron James? Megan Rapinoe won that. The most unlikable athlete above LeBron, which came in second, by the way. I mean, seriously. What would the Cartier family? Go subscribe to their YouTube channel, by the way. What was the point of her saying that? They're their own worst enemies. It's crazy. Nobody hates on women more than other women. The shit is crazy. It's nuts. Kelsey Dumb strikes again. Kelsey Plum is insufferable. I mean, here we go. Out of control. The girl on the left looks like a guy. Yikes. Oh, come on. Come on. Well, the math works out to $347,000 per player. That's the share of their profits. That's probably what they would have to pay up for them to make a profit. We actually looked at that earlier. It's $213,000 that the players ought to pay back to the league at this point. Now, that'd be a lot more when you consider how long they haven't turned a profit. Effing pathetic. Caitlin Clark should bolt and make these chicks Uber Eats drivers. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Caitlin Clark, leave the WNBA and these haters behind. I got to tell you, there's a lot of Caitlin Clark fans that at this point, this guy actually come out and said it. That Caitlin Clark Saudi League going to be special. Look, they wouldn't be able to show any skin in that league. But I already thought about that. The Saudis would throw, I don't know, $500 million in, $1 billion, $2 billion. Y'all think I'm crazy. I already thought about that. I did. Why call her out? She is responsible for the enthusiasm for the WNBA. Her presence in the league has done more for the cause of more pay for the players than any shirt. Agreed. She's a mini Asia. I mean, we could keep going. We could keep going. We wanted to do something that was uniting. Are you stupid or something? You wanted to unite, but you threw Team Clark and Caitlin Clark under the bus. Y'all got a different version of uniting than I do, I guess. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Again, they thought they'd wear those shirts and everybody be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And instead, the intelligent sports fans all collectively went, your league doesn't make a profit. What? That was the response. Your league makes no money and is subsidized by the NBA. What? During what should have been their flagship event. By the way, the game was awful. Tell me what you think. Kelsey Plum, add her to the list. Dejanay Carrington, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese. The list could, I mean, honestly, and the sad part is there's only about 10 players I think that actually don't like Caitlin. I think the rest of them like her. Jonquel Jones loves her. As far as I know, Sabrina does. But there's a section of this league, honestly, there is a section of this league that if 10 or 12 of them would just up and walk out of the league, this league would be so much better off. And some of them are their biggest quote-unquote stars, the league would be so much healthier. It would be a lot less toxic. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. This is the time to voice your displeasure. I just hot off the press. Use promo code CC22. I will have a link for this shirt in the comment section pinned. Save Caitlin, fire Kathy.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.